Kuna sakramenti mbili hizo. Dhumuni haswa la sakramenti ya uponyaji ni kuzirejeshea uhai roho zetu pale zinapougua kwa kutenda dhambi. Yesu ndiye tabibu mkuu wa roho zetu, naye yu tayari kututibu kila tunapougua.
Kupata kitubio kama Skiza Tune yako, tuma neno Skiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100273 kwa 811. This program has been sponsored by NCBA. Jina ni NCBA, and it's been 60 years of financing assets. NCBA, go for it.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to our program. We always discuss the philosophical issues, especially things that concerns our politics, thoughts, and emotions. And therefore today, I'm Reverend Father Dr. James Wangai Kabata, Rector, Consolata Institute of Philosophy, and a lecturer of philosophy. Today our topic is about one of the best known Italian political philosophers called Niccolo Machiavelli. And therefore our topic is Machiavellianism in politics and psychology. I know many people know Machiavelli, they use the word Machiavelli, but not many people probably want to know when he was born and why did he influence the political systems of his time. Machiavelli was born in 1469 and died in 1527. And he was an Italian Renaissance philosopher. Who are the Renaissance philosophers? These are the philosophers who came in the Middle Ages when the people of Europe started rejecting the church authority, started rejecting all the politics that was there before, and started embracing science. And they started giving a lot of importance to the use of reason instead of the myths that they were there, the pseudosciences. So his best known work is called The Prince. And this book, The Prince, was written posthumously in 1513. Why do we want to interest ourselves with Machiavelli, Nicolaus Machiavelli? Machiavelli has been quoted by many political philosophers. Machiavelli has been quoted by many African politicians, but I can also see a lot of Machiavellianism among the African politicians, even those who do not quote him. I know the second Zambian president, Frederick Chiluba, once referred to Machiavelli as that great Italian philosopher. And listening to him that time, I was in Zambia as a student. I started wondering whether many people who quote Machiavelli and call him the great philosopher or the great scholar or the great Italian, whether they really know exactly what Machiavelli ideology was. Because Machiavellian ideology is first of all depicted as godless. He doesn't have a lot of place for God. Then scheming is one of his best processes of politics. Scheming and self-interested, things that are to do with the lust for power. He advocates for power hunger, and his ideologies are about exactly helping the prince, helping the leader stay in power. And the leader can use any kind of means to stay in power. So for him, the means justify the end. If the end is you remain in power, then you can use whatever means that you have. So for Machiavelli, the ruler or the president or the leader must concern himself only with one thing. The moral value for every leader, according to Machiavelli, is how to acquire power and how to remain in power. There is nothing else. So, according to Machiavelli, once you get power, you can use anyone, even deceit. And that is why you find in Africa, most of the coalitions, they never stay in in place. People agree, let us work together until I become a president, then I will support you after this. Afterwards, the person changes the mind, because actually if you are using Machiavelli, you are supposed actually to raise into power using the people. The people are like the lander you use to climb to power. But according to Machiavelli, and this one is also depicted in the 48 Rules of Power, again, once you reach the top, you have to destroy the people who help you reach the top, because they will be your opposers in the next time that you want to raise in power. So for him, there's nothing like morality in raising to power and in remaining into power and also maintaining the power. And you can see a lot of this both in the whole world. If you look at what is going on in America, in Europe, in Africa, very many people have that Machiavelli mentality. And then, according to Machiavelli, there is also the principle of non-violence. And this is what Machiavelli says. You can be non-violent, you can use the principle of non-violence on your people, but only if they agree with you. If they don't agree with you, then you can resort to power using the force, the absolute power. And therefore, Machiavelli gives something positive, that is non-violence, but after some time, he says, if it doesn't work, you don't continue like Mahatma Gandhi. For Mahatma Gandhi, it's non-violence all the way. But for Machiavelli, it's non-violence if it works. If it doesn't work, you have to fight. You have to make people obey you by the rule of the gun, actually. And therefore, when people quote Machiavelli, let them also remember that we only know some few good things, but there is a lot of very bad philosophies that he advocated. Then Machiavelli also, in that book, The Prince, says that the ruler must advocate for some virtues, like the ruler can acquire respect or esteem. So he can also acquire virtues of faithfulness, humanity, kindness, and these qualities, even mercy, they are there, but the ruler must use only these qualities to make himself famous. And therefore, if you want to be a good ruler, be a very kind person, be a very cheerful person, meet the people. But only the bad thing with Machiavellianism is that you are doing this so that people may love you. You are doing this so that people may follow you. You are doing this so that people may admire you and even adore you. You have seen how many African leaders and all over the world, when there is a funeral, they come, they cry, they even shed tears, they do a lot of mimics. But at the end of the day, what they acquire from the funeral is that the crown has been gathered. So when a politician sees the crown, for him he can do anything, including kneeling down when people are praying, singing and opening the hymn book. But the idea is that this crown has been gathered. What does he see in this crown? He only receives votes. He only receives people. And this is Machiavellianism, that somebody gives you something, but he is not showing his kindness and generosity. He is just giving you as the way you would put the chicken into the house by throwing some maize grains for them. And this is what Machiavelli ended by saying, that to be feared for any king, for any leader, it is good to be feared than to be loved. You shouldn't work on the aspect of people loving you. You should work towards people fearing you, so that when fear you, they can't speak against you. And that's why for Machiavelli, he did this by when he discovered that there was a good king in his time, and this king was still overthrown by the people. And therefore, one of the principles of Machiavelli is that people are generally bad. People are not good, they are coming to destroy you. And with this aspect, and in the second part of the topic, I'll show you how much Machiavellianism we are, both in psychology, both in the families and in the politics, and most of all also in business, in the economics. Because for him, people are not good. So a wise ruler cannot and should not keep the people closer to him. He must always bring them only when he needs them. And then another aspect in the book, The Prince, which I know also some African leaders have used. A wise ruler cannot keep his word. A wise ruler must be able to say something today and also negate it tomorrow, actually. If you keep your word, you are not a very wise ruler in this. Because remember, I have told you, people are generally bad. So when you keep your word, they are going to overthrow you. Because as I'm saying for Machiavelli, all you need the whole of your life is to safeguard your power, is to safeguard your position, is to keep your position, is that nobody else. And no wonder you hear people talking of dynasties and all these things and the inner circle, the kitchen cabinet, and the wise ruler always makes sure that those people, according to Machiavelli, I'm not a Machiavellian, those people surrounding you are not wiser than you. They are the people that you can manipulate. They are the people that can sell each of your ideologies. And they are people, if you don't stay by your word, if you turn against your word, they are still going to defend you. Because themselves, they know they are also there because of the mercy. And they know that a Machiavellian will one day or another draw them away. And therefore, the theories of Machiavelli are not very good theories, but I see many people, say that great philosopher. Machiavellianism is all about manipulation. When you give people something, not generosity, not because you want to go to heaven, but you want these people to follow you. You want these people to admire you. When you cry with the people you are crying, you are actually appealing to their emotions, so that they see what a wonderful leader we have who comes and cry with us. But what I'm saying is that when they see the group of people mourning, they have no business with the mourning, the Machiavellian philosophers and politicians. Theirs is the number. This number, particularly here, what do they want? So if they want me to cry, I cry with them, and he knows that according to Machiavelli, they are bad people. Unless you do what they want, then they will overthrow you. So how do we talk of Machiavellianism in psychology? It refers to a personality or a trait which sees a person so focused on their own interest. A person who only is so much focused on their self-interest. He has no place for the others. Another aspect of Machiavellianism in psychology is that you have these kind of people who know how to manipulate. They manipulate, they change their colors like the chameleons. Those are Machiavelli mentalities, People who can be able even, and this is what we call the cat mentality. You know what the cat does when it wants milk from you? It comes, it rams itself, it is so kind, it's so nice. But then afterwards, once you give the cat the milk or the piece of meat, it disappears, only to come again, and then come with the same tactics. The other trait of the Machiavellianism in psychology are the people who like deceiving. They are people who, when they say something, you have to think twice. They have deceived you once, twice, or thrice, but they will continue deceiving you. They hate truth, the Machiavellians. And then they exploit others, and they exploit the others because for them, they have to do everything to achieve their goals. For them, the end is very important. The means you use to climb the people. These are the people who climb even in the jump land are using others. They use the others as the blocks where they stop on, but then they are not able to they are not able to generally use the people better, So they are exploiters. In psychology, Machiavellians are exploiters. They deceive you, they come, they say what they want, or what you want to hear, so that they achieve what they want. When we come back, we shall continue with the same trend of Machiavellianism in psychology, and we shall see some of the signs that can help you know a Machiavellian, even in politics. And then we shall end with the practical examples. Thank you very much.
Capuchin TV, a Catholic Broadcasting Ministry. Misa takatifu ya kila siku ni kama ifuatavyo: saa 1 kamili asubuhi, saa 7:30 mchana, saa 12 jioni na saa 2:30 usiku.
Go forth, the mass is ended.
Thanks be to God.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, tunakuenzi na kukudhamini.
Endelea kutazama Capuchin TV.
Sakramenti ni nini na misingi yake iko wapi katika Biblia takatifu? Wavijua vipindi vya kanisa Katoliki? Ni alama na vyombo gani vinavyotumika katika maadhimisho ya ibada zetu? Ungana nasi kila siku ya Jumanne saa 1:30 jioni katika kipindi cha Sakramenti na Biblia. Ni kutoka hapa Capuchin TV, tukiikuza imani Katoliki kwa pamoja.
Thank you very much and welcome back. We have seen that we are going to discover some of the traits that shows Machiavellian spirit in someone, or in a politician, or in a friend. Because you may also have Machiavellian friends. You can also have Machiavellian family members. All this is not a psychological test whereby you can also start sticking and say this one is a Machiavellian. It is for your own good. Most of the philosophy we use to assess ourselves, not to assess the others. I remember one time I preached in a parish and a woman came and told me, "Father, I wish my husband was here. Everything you said was about him." And then that is very bad, because I think each preaching, each talk is supposed to touch yourself, to touch you as a person. But if you see a person who is only focused on their own ambition and interests, that this person has no place for the others, provided he or she has to achieve his own interests and ambitions, that he can even pass in your land with a tractor, provided he has, as long as he wants to pass and reach a place where, that is a characteristic of a Machiavellian. A person who is only focused with his own or her own ambitions and interests. And we have such people. And these people have also the other tendency of putting money as a priority. Everything is about money, power, and relationships. People who are so convinced that they should be the leaders to a point that they don't care whether so many people lose their job, so many people die, or whatever it takes to be a leader, they prioritize their own ambitions. And that is a very bad trait of a Machiavellian, because for them to reach there, they can use any means. I've told for a Machiavellian, the end justify the means. And the means also justify the end. That what you want to achieve must be achievable. So, what do they do when they come to you? They come to you. A Machiavellian will always come to you as a charming person and also very confident. First, they win your heart. It can also be something positive once in a while when you want somebody to run a project or a fundraiser. Is somebody who is able to talk to your mind, you understand the concept, then he is able to appeal to your heart, but then they also make you reach the pockets. We even have possibility of Machiavellian pastors, people who can sell for you anything as a panacea. A panacea is that if I sell you this, or if you buy this seed, if you buy this seed at 500, then all your problems are solved. And I see so many people in Nairobi running to these kind of pastors who are selling mbegu here and there. And they are buying mbegu, but the pastor is buying Prado, is buying limousine, is buying, but then their mbegu has also been used to buy the limousine. But because these people come as very charming people, with a lot of confidence, with a lot of conviction, and yet these are the people who can sell you even a barren heifer, a cow that does not produce even the calves. They will tell you, you know, it is not a bad thing, because instead of having a cow that has to make you wake up early in the morning to milk, it's better to have a cow that you see doesn't wake you up. You don't have to milk it. And then they are charming and they are convincing. So they lie and deceive when it is required. You may think somebody is saying the truth, but if he knows that these lies can help me achieve what I want to achieve, they can cheat. And this is what we see with African politicians. They can say this, I have to make sure that each house will have power, and that all the roads will be tarmacked, all the bridges will be put. We shall have 2 new primary schools. And 5 years, they go to Nairobi. They do nothing, but because of their Machiavellian conviction, they will come again. And they will come and convince the people, and the people will still vote for them. Because the normal way for a normal person, if you cheat, you are ashamed. But some of these people are born before the shame. So they have no shame. They can cheat you today, they can cheat you tomorrow. Even they always use flattery often, flattery, because if they want something from you, they can sing for you all the praises you need. But that's why you see sometimes there are so many sycophants surrounding a leader somewhere, and the leader does not know the truth because all his friends are Machiavellians. So they always tell you everybody is singing praise for you. You have such leaders like Idi Amin, who of course proclaimed that everybody loves me. Everybody loves me very much. And but because they did not go to the ground to see whether people loved them, they continued listening to a circle of Machiavellian sycophants who always tell you what they want. Because for a Machiavellian, they check, is this going to be good to him? Yes, let us tell him, people are dying for you. And that's why you see, there are some politicians who have always stood. They always go for an election for 20 years, and nobody has ever voted them. But every 5 years, some friends come and tell, this is the time, everybody is dying for you. And then they go again, they spend money, and then they lose. Then they next year they are doing the same. What is another characteristic of a Machiavellian is that they have something we call, they lack principles and values. There are people we can call, you know, for you, if you have principles and values, is either white or black. It's either yes or no. A watermelon is a Machiavellian mentality. It seems you, whatever, the green or the red, whatever comes first is okay. So because there is lack of principles, there is lack of value. And these people are also aloof and with a low level of empathy. So when they cry for you because of your problems, it is not true. It is just the crocodile tears, you know. They can create chaos so that they can come and solve the chaos. They can create problems so that they can come and solve the problems. If they see people are very happy, they create a situation which brings sadness. When you look at the situations in some countries where there is no priority, you know, priorities are put upside down. These are also traits of Machiavellianism. When the whole society is talking in terms of hunger, the hunger in the country, and someone else is talking of a different agenda, which is completely, totally different from the people on the ground. This shows that these people have the Machiavellian spirit because they also avoid commitment. and the emotional attachment. A Machiavellian will never like to be committed truly to you or to a cause or to have any emotional attachment. You know, there was a time there was an election in Kenya, and I was happy to see somebody went in the morning to one party, his papers were rejected. Around 9:30 he went to a different party, his papers are rejected, and around midday he was already singing for another party. And this is a real Machiavellian spirit, because the party is supposed to show you their ideologies. You are supposed to stand for something, some ideological thing. But if you can stand for everything, then it means you are not a committed person. You only want to be a member of parliament. But don't think everything Machiavellian is always negative. There are also some Machiavellian people who are very patient. They are very patient because they are calculating their time, you know. Like even the snakes in the grass, they are not jumping up and down. Sometimes they wait quietly. So that patient should not be construed to mean that they are peaceful people. They are really people who are able to use their time. So Machiavellians might struggle to identify their own emotions, and usually the problem is that probably they were hurt when they are young, and they came with this conviction of Machiavelli himself that people are bad. And for this reason, they are like people who are sadists, as I said in one of the talks of Thoughts and Emotions, that sadists are people who are very happy when you are sad. When you are crying, they laugh. You know, I have heard people who even explain an accident very jovially, you know, like saying, oh yeah, the way that car was hit and then it jumped up, and you can even imagine it's like Rambo, and then they are laughing because these people have no emotional attachment to what is going. So there's a lot of Machiavellianism in business, in economics. I want to give now, I'm almost winding up, 2 points. According to some CEOs in banks or in other places, they take this Machiavellian slogan very well, that a fiat leader is better than a loved leader. So they don't take time to look for love and sympathy from the workers. They make them fear, and sometimes they prosper in entrepreneurship. It is not a must you are loved, and these are Machiavellian economists. Some, they say, you know, they encourage criticisms and frankness. They allow you to speak a lot, but then they are the final judges. When it is a good time, they come and strike you, because you have opened yourself so much. That is also another Machiavellian spirit that is used by the economist. And sometimes they also become Machiavellians in business, and they make choice. It's better to make any choice. Sometimes you don't have to wait for A or B, but sometimes it's good to know that this is time to make a choice, and they don't micromanage, and they also try to make friends in the high places. When you see people who always move with the rich and the most influential people, then you know, again, even if he's an economist, he's a business person, there's some little bit of Machiavellianism. Let's pray today that, you know, some of these traits you could be having, not all of them. So everybody can be a Machiavellian in one way or another. But Machiavellianism as a philosophy, as many people quote Machiavelli, is not usually a very good political philosophy. It is something we should also try to avoid. Until next time, thank you, and God bless you all. Amen.
This program has been sponsored by NCBA. Jina ni NCBA, and it's been 60 years of financing assets. NCBA, go for it.
Ekaristi. Sakramenti ya Ekaristi ni sakramenti ya mwili na damu ya Yesu Kristo aliye kweli katika maumbo ya mkate na divai.
Kupata Ekaristi takatifu kama skiza tuni yako, tuma neno skiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100271 kwa 811.